So we will continue our deep dive into Shloka 17, and if time permits, we'll go to 18. Please pay attention and review the notes, and if you have any questions, please raise that in the Q&A forum or later in the chat. So let's get started. This is a fantastic shloka. So before we jump into the shloka, let's see where we are. We are between shloka 11 and 25. In fact, we are going to cover 17, which we touched in the previous class, but we are going to deep dive into the whole shloka today. And then up to shloka 25 is the second topic of the second chapter, because the second chapter has 7 major topics. The first topic was the fundamental human problem. Through Arjuna as an example, that was shloka 1 to 10. We covered that extensively. And then Krishna is started to giving the permanent solution or the ultimate solution for the whole human problem. And if I recap the fundamental human problem in one sentence, is that I am subject to suffering. That's it. Right? Please keep an eye on this. Please monitor this, because 10 years back, I might be suffering from finance issue, but I might have recovered it at. But there is something else because of that I am suffering. Or there is something else in the world which could potentially make me suffer. So I am always vulnerable. I am always subjected to problem. I can be happy and contented if every stars are aligned. And that we know that that will not happen. When the health problem goes, the wealth problem will come. The wealth problem goes, the social problem will come. So like that, something or the other will be there for me to get suffered. And how do I transcend that suffering? Usually the material solution is try to fix everything around me. Obviously that is good. We should do as much as possible, but know that that will not solve the problem forever. So the problem for ever is a cognitive change. Understand what is changing and understand what is not changing and pivot yourself or base yourself on that permanent and see things as they unfold. Be agile and live an efficient and effective life. This is the message of Gita, and this is the message of the modern psychology teaches us. So this is the topic. So the first topic is for me to understand who I am, what I am, and that is where the knowledge of the self is very important. And that is what we were discussing from shloka 11 to 25. So first Krishna defines what is the solution, and then he is going to take us how we are going to get that what. That's it. So with that, let's continue to the shloka. Shloka 17. Let's listen to the chanting, and then we can definitely deep dive into the message of the shloka. So first, let's listen to the chanting.
Avinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyayasya na kaschit kartum arhati.
It's a beautiful shloka again, which you can find a lot of reflections in modern science, especially with the physics, modern physics. You see a lot of similar thought. And this is how a lot of scientists got attracted to Gita. So having said that, let's deep dive into the shloka, the message of the shloka. So Krishna tells here, Avinashitu tat vithim. Vithi, the word vithi means understand. It came from the root word with. With means to know. It means to understand. What exactly he is asking us to understand? Tat. Tat means that. That means the reality of the universe. Yena. Yena means by which. Sarvamidam. All this. Tatam. All this is pervaded by that Atma. Because he was talking about the Atma, of meaning the essential reality in each one of us. In the previous shloka, if you think, what was the message? If you remember, what was the shloka 16? Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, upayor api drishtondas tatayor tattva drishyadevi. meaning the truth does not have any absence, and the unreal or the relatively real do not have true independent existence. So he was talking about Atma as real. So that is established. And then he is going to establish one more point. That Atma, which is the real, which is not subjected to time and space, that Atma is all pervading. In other words, that Atma is only one. There are millions of people, billions of people around the world, trillions of life expression around the world. But how many Atmas are there? This is the tricky part. This is what we need to understand. We think that Rajesh is different from Rohit ji is different from Gokul, Radhaji is different, Amisha is different, Manoj is different, Guru is different. Each one of us is different. Yes, we are different in terms of our name, our form, our skills, but the underlying reality, there is only one. There can be thousands of mud pots, but there is underlying reality that give existence to all the mud pot, the mud, the clay is only one. There can be thousands of waves, billions of waves in the ocean, but the underlying reality by which the wave exists, or even the larger wave, smaller wave, there is difference between larger wave and smaller wave in terms of name and space, but the underlying reality of all the wave is only one. So we are establishing one more point about the Atma. In the previous shloka, we have seen that the Atma Satyaha. Atma is indestructible. Atma is Satyaha. Atma is the truth. The Atma was there in the past. Atma is there, going to be there in the future. Atma is going to be there right now. And Atma does not, meaning the existence of Atma is not dependent upon any other object. That is what we saw. In this shloka, we are continuing to see a little bit more dimensions of Atma. The first one is the Atma is all pervading. When something is all pervading, that implies something. That means it's only one. Correct? If something is everywhere, there is nothing else. That is what it means. What does that mean? The sun is an expression of Atma. The moon is an expression of Atma. Plants are the expressions of Atma. Trees are the expressions of Atma. Everything you see, physically, mentally, emotionally, underlying reality is one. And the next statement, Krishna clarifies that Vinasham avyayasya na kaschit kartum arhasi. Nobody can destroy that one Atma which perverts everywhere. That is the next statement. Na kaschit, no one. Arhati, capable. Kartum, nobody is capable of bringing about or destroying. Vinasham. Avyaya, that changeless Atma. Asya here means Atma. So 2 points here. One is that Atma, which is my true nature, is all pervading. And there is only one Atma for the entire universe. And that Atma is changeless and indestructible. So there are 2 words used. One is Vinasham nakartum arhati. That is indestructible. And then another word is used, avyaya. Avyaya means changeless. Vyaya means change. Avyaya means changeless. That implies a big meaning, right? So I am there. Like 30 years back, I was there. So 30 years back, what I was and what I am now has changed. I have changed. A pupa was there in the past, and that that entity still exists, but that pupa can transform into a butterfly. So change is possible for almost every entity. Even that entity is not destroyed, it can be subjected to change, isn't it? As time goes, it changes. Look at the Gandhiji when he was a kid and when he was an old, like you can see that popular picture of Gandhiji. Forget about that. Look at your own childhood and where you are right now. When you were born, you were a small baby with 4.5 pounds or 5 pounds, and now look at where you are. Everything changes. Everything changes in the universe. As time goes by, everything changes. But that is not for Atma. So anything that is subjected to change, understand that is not Atma. So if you put that definition, last time also we put that definition into whatever we see. Take our body. What was the first definition? It should be there in the past. It should be there in the present. It should be there in the future. Look at my body. 100 years back, my body was not there. 100 years from now, my body definitely won't be there. So that means it is not the Sat. And now in the shloka, it gives two other things, right? The Atma we are talking is all pervading. Is my body all pervading? No, it is 5 feet 8 inch, this much weight, and it occupies only a certain position. That's it. If I'm here today, I'm not there, right? Since I'm in North Brunswick, I'm not in Princeton, right? If I'm in Princeton, I'm not in North Brunswick. So I am conditioned by space, I'm conditioned by time. But here Krishna is clearly negating those two aspects, because that by which any entity is limited is three attributes as per Vedanta. One is called the space, and the other one is called the time, and the third one is called attributes or characteristics. Right? If it is sweet, it is not like salty. I'm just making it up. If it is black, that means it is not red, because the having an attribute itself is a limitation, right? When I say that, like I know, meaning like I am say I have 2 hands, that means I do not have 3 hands, right? Everything is a limitation. So these are the 3 modes of limitation. One is space. Space means I am sitting here in North Brunswick, that means I'm not in Princeton. That is, I'm limited by space. I'm limited by time. 100 years back, I was not there, and 100 years from now, I won't be there. That is the limitation of time. And the third one is the attributes, right? See, my hair is black, that means it is not red. So it's all limitation, because whenever I say I am something, that means I am not a variety of other things. In the case of Atma, these two distinctions are not applicable. The second thing is that meaning like there are plurality in the case of my body, but in the case of Atma, all of us share the same Atma. This appears to be very confusing. So let's just deep dive a little bit more into that. Everything else you can logically understand, but when you say that there is only one Atma, my Atma is same as your Atma, and his Atma, her Atma, and that same Atma is the same manifestation of the even the other things, the sun and the moon and the star. It appears to be good, but it is too hard to believe. Why? Let's take a simple example. But let's go step by step. Let's go to the meaning of the shloka step by step. So you can, if you have my notes, you can always refer that. This is where the notes is going to help you. So each point I'm going to discuss, it is highlighted. So the first point we are going to talk about, is the Atma indestructible, Avinashi. That is the point. Krishna himself here tells, Avinashitu tatvithi. Know that Atma cannot be destroyed at all. No force, divine or human, can bring about its destruction. Atma cannot be destructed by neither human or by divine. Shankaracharya tells even Ishvara cannot destroy it, because the Atma itself is Ishvara. So the Ishvara and Atma are not different. In that sense, he tells, if you're not speaking, could you please go on mute? Thank you. Sorry. So Shankaracharya tells even Ishvara cannot destroy that Atma. So that is the key point here. And the second thing is, so first we said Atma is indestructible. The second point is Atma is sarvagataha, all pervading. Yena sarvam idam tatam. Atma perverts this entire universe. When something perverts somewhere, there could be a doubt. Like if you place an agarbatti, if you put a perfume, that perfume, the smell of that perfume will be pervaded in the entire room. That is not the intrinsic, it is, that doesn't mean that it is the essence, everything is perverted by the agarbatti smell. It's only a super, it's a layering. That Atma is not like that. Atma is everything. Just like every bits of gold or golden ornament pervaded by the gold. Every bit of pot is pervaded by clay. Every waves and ocean is pervaded by water. I can say that the wave is pervaded by water because the top of the wave is water, the middle of the wave is water, and everything in the wave is but nothing but water. Water is the essence of the wave. Clay is the essence of the pot. Gold is the essence of golden ornament. If I take the gold away from the golden ornament, nothing exists. So the names and forms are incidental, but the underlying reality is permanent. So like that, Atma perverts everywhere. My body is nothing but an expression of that Atma. My consciousness is the purest expression of Atma. All the objects around me is nothing but an expression of that one Atma. Now the question is, how is that possible? That is where one beautiful example is there. But please understand that the example is an example. Otherwise, don't compare it with the actuality, because the problem with the example is we always try to compare that as the real thing. So the example of Atma, the best example of understanding the oneness of Atma is to go back to Swapna Drishtanta. In the Swapna Drishtanta, the dream analogy, dream example. In dream, what happens? You see yourself as a character in the dream. I don't know anybody can see a dream without you there. So you will be there in the dream and you will be seeing thousands of other human beings, thousands of other non-human beings. Some of them will be inert matter. But I don't think it will be very difficult for you to understand that everything in that dream, including you, your dream body and other people's body, and even the mountains you see, even the sky you see in the dream, even the stars you see in the mountain, everything is an expression of your own mind stuff. Isn't it? Isn't it? It is true, right? 100%. There is nothing for you to, this can be easily relatable example. When you are in the dream, everything appears to be different. Your awareness in the dream is pretty much limited to where your body ends in the dream, right? But we know for sure that every aspects of the dream, every expression of the dream is my own mind stuff. So what is the problem for me in the dream? Yes, I do have some awareness, but what is the problem? The awareness of myself is not complete. I understood myself in a very limited manner. When I am in the dream, I see myself as only as a character in the dream. But I forget to understand that the entire dream world is nothing but me in my true sense. Isn't it? That is what you need to understand. In the dream, if you attend a Gita class and a teacher comes and tells you that everything you see, including Ishvara in the dream, you pray in the dream, is nothing but the essence of you, you will not believe that. You may say that, okay, that is superstition. That is exactly what some people say. But you need to understand that that is the reality. And when you get that, either you need to wake up, then you understand that, okay, that was a dream. Everything I saw is my own mind projections. Or you need to understand that it is a lucid dream. So a lucid dream is a dream when you realize within the dream that you are dreaming. That is the lucid dream. So without a lucid dream or without waking, You cannot even comprehend that. And how many mind stuff is there? Like, let's say that you were addressing like 15,000 people in a conference, in a dream, like a big AI conference or something like that. You may think that there are 15,000 Atma, but practically, for sure, you all know that the Atma is one there. So like that, when I look at this world, I see billions of expressions of life. I see trillions of, or meaning, I don't know what is the next level, but that many expressions of objects and names and forms. See, in Lalita Sahasranama and Vishnu, it is said that Aneka Koti Brahmanda Nayaki. Aneka Koti Brahmanda Nayaki. Just like we have a galaxy, there are Aneka Koti, billions of Brahmandas, world, and everything is run by that Devi. Devi means here the consciousness. That's it. So this is the logic. So that is the point. So you need to understand. So the problem is I don't know myself. If somebody say that you don't know myself, no, I know myself. I am conscious of myself. I am self-aware. But the problem is what? I am not limited. My understanding of myself is partial. I need to elevate that understanding through the study of. That is what Krishna is telling. Okay, so let's continue. Let's move to the next point. So Atma is Avinashi. That means Atma is indestructible. The second point is Atma is Sarvagataha, all pervading. The next point is Atma is changeless, immutable, Avyaya. Avyaya means changing. Avyaya means unchanging. Like there is no decay, there is no transformation. Typically, everything other than Atma is subjected to sixfold modification. In Vedanta, we say Shatbhava Vikara. Shatbhava Vikara. Sixfold modification. I talked about this when we were talking about the previous shloka. What are all the sixfold modification? Asti, Jayate, Varthate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Pranashyati. Let me translate that into English. Asti means you come into being. If you take a human being, like first you have to be, your existence is in the womb of the mother. Jayate, you will come out. Varthate, you will grow. Viparinamate, you will transform, right? When you, from that teenhood or the childhood, you transform into a youth. That's a big transformation. In the case of like the butterfly, the pupa, when it transforms into butterfly, it's a full transformation. And after that, what is going to happen? Once the youth is gone, apakshiyate. Apakshiyate means what? Slowly, slowly degrading. Earlier, you could read without a glass, and then immediately the glass will come. Earlier, you could hear without hearing aid will come. Earlier, I could run or walk, then other support systems will gradually come. That is apakshiyate, falling down. And finally, pranashyati, end. This is the sixfold modification. And this sixfold modification is not for Atma. So anything, see, why we are saying is that the approach Vedanta always takes is neti, like this is not me. So if you identify something which is subjected to any of these things, right? The first one is the Atma Sarvagataha. If it is plural, then that is not your complete understanding of yourself. Then Atma Avinashi. If it cannot be destroyed, we know that our body can be destroyed. So that is not Atma. Then Avyaya. I know that my body changes every day. Like they say in 12 years, almost except a few cells, most of the cells in our body will be replaced. So we know that it is changing. And you know that from the shape itself, it changes. So body is subjected to this modification. Atma is not subjected to. any of these modification. So let's continue. So then avyaya means it is not subjected to any decay or transformation. So just like the ocean or the water remains unchanged when the waves rise and fall, the Atma remains constant through all forms of changes. The clay remains unchanged. When you break a pot or when you make a pot, the clay remains changed, but the pot form changes. Like that, Atma is immutable. Then, despite of mental, emotional, physical changes, that changes belongs to body, but the underlying reality, Atma, remains unaffected. So what is that Atma? Atma equal to Sat, and it is also equal to Chit. Sat means the existence of reality. And the purest form of that expression of that Atma is Chit, consciousness. So the purest expression of Atma is the consciousness in me. And therefore, Atma, which is Sat, which is equal to Chit, and this consciousness in me is the source of unconditional happiness or contentment. Why? Because it gives you that type of joy which is not dependent upon anything else. That is why we typically call the Atma as, there is a pronoun you use to qualify the Atma. Satchidananda Atma. Have you heard of that? Satchidananda Atma. That it means. Sat means existence. Chit means consciousness. These are the two essential dimensions of Atma. And third dimension is Ananda, the contentment. Typically, the Ananda is what? When I watch a movie, I get happiness. Meaning, if you are a movie lover. Some people are foodies. When you get food, you will be happy. Some people are like, there are different things that makes you happiness. But what is the problem? Your happiness is dependent upon so many conditions. When you don't have it, or after some time, even if you're a foodie, like after eating a full meal, if you offered something, that doesn't excite you. But a happiness or a contentment, that is not dependent upon any external circumstances. That is Atma, when you know that. So this is another detailed explanation on the nature of the Atma. So let's continue. A few more points. And another point I said is one Atma, many appearances. See, another popular Vedantic analogy, one sun, the reflections of the suns are many, right? Port space analogy, another example. If there are 100 ports, there will be 100 port space, each space conditioned by one port. But honestly speaking, space is only one. And that conditioning or the limitations of the port is only given by the, space is given by the port. So those are the thing. And typically what happens, our body and the mind give me an illusion or give me a sense of limitations. So my own body and my own mind put some filter in me and doesn't reveal the entire scope of me. Just like in the dream body and the dream mind, put a limitation in me in understanding the totality of me, right? Just like that, in this world, our body and mind put some filter, put some conditioning in me so that I don't see myself. Most of the times I see myself as the body and the mind, and that is why Krishna is clearly differentiating what you are not and what you are. Remember, if something is not subjected to birth, growth, decay, death, that is not your full dimension. So typically I identify myself as Rajesh. That Rajesh is not the true in me. Rajesh is just an expression of me for this time, for this period. I continue to exist. In the dream, I come into being at the beginning of the dream, and at the end of the dream, that dream body goes. But the true me survives the dreams. That is the case. So my body here come to an end one day, but the true me continues. And Krishna's advice to all of us is that Don't get stick yourself too much addicted with the impermanent. Shift your identity to that permanent and then live that doesn't mean that you wanted to ignore the life here. Then live a happy and efficient and effective life here. So while you are in the dream, you need to live an efficient dream life. But if I'm constantly worried about all the other things, I may not be able to use that time effectively. I'll tell you one example, just a practical thing to contemplate. Think about the best period of your life, like whatever life you had. Just close your eyes and think about the best period. All of you might have thought sometime. Was that time free from all their problems? If I take my best experience, I always, if I take what I considered as the best experiences of my life, when I was having, I had another 1,500 problems to worry. So what happened was, while I was worrying about that other problems, I could not enjoy that best experience fullest. Of course, I enjoyed, but when I look back, I see that I could have enjoyed much more. And if you think that there will be a time in your life without any worry, you can just sit and enjoy that life, that will not happen. The very fact that you are born into this world, there will be problem. So you need to understand how to enjoy your life, whatever you have at any given point of time. That is where the attitude of gratitude come into the picture. And that is where this teaching comes into the picture. And Krishna is slowly getting you there. But this is a very important point. And that is where the teachings of the Atma is very important. So let's continue. So this is the Upanishad always talks about this. Shvetashwara Upanishad tells, Eko Devaha Sarva Bhudeshu Gudaha. There is one divine hidden in every being. Hidden means it is not directly visible to you. You may see the pot, but you may fail to see the clay. You may see the ocean, the wave, but you may not see the water. You may see the ornament, but you may fail to see the gold. Like that, we will all see the world, the plurality, but we always fail to see the reality under that plurality. So this is what the teachings of Advaita Vedanta. So why the Vedanta is called Advaita, one and non-dually one? Because truth is one. Truth is one. The reality of me is one. That is why it is known as Advaita Vedanta. That is, by the way, non-dually one. Okay, so let's continue. So some of the practical implications. The first thing is that you are not limited body or the mind. Yes, your mind and body are there, but you are beyond that. You are eternal, indestructible, all-pervasive consciousness. That's number one. Then realizing this and shifting the identity from mortality to immortality is the journey of spirituality. So this will help you to detach from the impermanent and get connected with the permanent Atma. So this is the essence of this shloka. So if you really look at the spirit of the shloka, Atma, our true identity, is indestructible, unchanging, all-pervading, and singular, forming the foundation of everything in existence. By anchoring ourselves in this timeless awareness, we discover the unity of all beings and uncovering the essence that binds us to the cosmos as one. This is the essence of the shloka. By the way, if somebody asks, like most of the scholars have taken, in the Bible, there is a famous two commandments. Like if somebody asks you to summarize the entire Bible, they quote two commandments. What are they? One is love your God with all your heart, all your mind. And then second one is, what is the second point? Love your neighbor as yourself. How is it possible? Vedanta gives why. Because the essence of your neighbor and essence of me are one. This is a very famous quote. So Vedanta explains why. And love your God with all your heart, all your mind. Why? Because in essence, my Krishna and myself is one. Right? That is the greatest knowledge given by the Vedanta. Now, one more cultural thing. Whenever in the Vedantic culture, Vedic culture, or in all the dharmic culture, whether it is Jainism, Sikhism, or all such religion, when two people meet, what do? Namaste. Anjali Mudra. What exactly means? I salute that divinity in you because I see you not just as a limited human being. I see that divinity in you and I salute. This is what it means. So there is a deeper meaning like larger dimension there. So that is the thing and the nature of Atma. Atma is eternal. Atma is beyond birth, death, and destruction. Atma is all pervading. It is the foundation of everything in existence, from the smallest particle to the galaxies. So, sorry to take just a diversion. When Shankaracharya was countered, meaning like when the Chandala was arguing Shankaracharya, right? He said, Brahmadi pipili kanda tanushu yeta jagat sakshini. So from Ant to Brahmaji, the existence is only one. That which gives the existence to Ant is the same truth that gives existence to the creator, Brahmaji. And when you understand that, why do you see me as a Chandala and you as a sannyasi? It doesn't make any sense. That is how the Chandala countered Shankaracharya. So that is why all pervading. Then immutable. Immutable means it is unaltered despite of the transient nature of the physical world. And finally, Atma is only one. Though it appears as many, there is only one Atma. This is the nature of Atma expounded by this shloka. So let's look at the reflective prompt for this particular shloka. So do you consistently find yourself getting disturbed by physical, mental, intellectual differences between you and the people around you? Do you tend to fix my way or the highway attitude in life? How does this affect your interpersonal relationship? How might this lesson of one unified consciousness help you to navigate your relationship with greater ease? No need to answer. Contemplate upon that. I put that in the notes so you can contemplate.